Good evening and welcome to Series 3, Episode 2 of Ox Sports Unleashed here at Oxford Downs Cricket Club with kind permission. We thank them for being able to use the studio as always, and welcome to you wherever you are, in your jacuzzis, your bathrooms, your hot tubs, even in your living rooms. We welcome you to Ox Sports Unleashed with another packed programme tonight. It's going to be quite a roller coaster. Aha, yes, as you can see, I am with Colin, a roller coaster ride. Welcome, Colin, back into the hot seat.
Yes, indeed. There are three certainties in life: death, taxes, and the fact I'm not Kieren Bushnell.
I think the last one's pretty decent, actually, to be fair. Welcome. Have a good episode tonight. And like I say, coming up on tonight's programme, we have Matt Warner from Oxford Downs, captain and groundsman. We'll be talking to him about the season that has just gone. We've got highlights from Oxford City. We've got other cricket news. We've got rugby footage from Chinnor and lots more besides. So stick with us and you'll have something I'm sure you'll be interested in along the way. So we'll start, which is unusual for me, actually introducing Oxford City for a change. I don't normally do this.
Well, you'll get used to it.
I'll be getting used to it. They had an away trip to Chorley. Exciting game, we have to say, and we've got some highlights and then an interview with Ross Jenkins afterwards.
The ball forward, Latrell Humphrey is brilliant defending from him just to stand up to the challenge. He's got no one in front of him, so he bursts forward, Latrell Humphrey and he's still got the ball. Brilliant ball as well. Josh Parker just about takes the ball down with his right, and City are on the counter here. Back onto his right. Can he find the angle for a shot? Edge of the box here. Tom Scott deflected! 1-0 Oxford City, and after 16 minutes, Oxford City take the lead on the road, and it's Tom Scott, the goal scorer. Three-man wall for Chorley, both arms in the air for Josh Ashby as we wait to take this free kick. He does clip it into the box, it's not a bad effort, and he's headed in, and it's a goal for Darryl Johnson, and Oxford City deservedly lead here at Chorley by 2-0. The host, and it's a decent ball over towards the back post. Ellis wins the header, it backs towards the back stick, and it ends in the back of the net. City couldn't clear their lines, and there is the goal back for Chorley. Yeah. Talk to slow it down from yourself, Alfie, but that's exactly what Oxford City have got to do. They've got to take the sting out of this game, because at the moment there's a bit of momentum in Chorley's favour. And here's the ball from Wiggett down the line. Roddy will latch onto it. Can he get the cross in? He can, and there's Tom Scott, and Oxford City's 2-goal lead is back through Tom Scott, his second of the game. Well, Jacob Roddy's cross was absolutely perfect. Takes a few steps back, we're waiting for the referee's whistle. Been blown. Hewitt then against Lewis, steps up and scores. It almost clips the top of the bar and goes behind. Sam Lewis grabs the ball to stop the Chorley counter. Will keep pressing from the off here. He's got to keep going. These City players have to keep going. 30 seconds of normal time remaining before we see the board. Ball, beautifully played ball over towards the number 7, Hewitt, the goal scorer of Chorley's second goal. Here's Blakeman. Can he find the room for a cross? He can. It's in towards the back stick. Headed back by Roddy. Chested down by Henley. Goes one way, then the other! And Chorley equalise in the last minute of the game. And Adam Henley has fired in from a tight angle.
To sort of put the work in like we did and to get a point out of it. It's great, obviously, because Chorley are a top team and they're at the top for a reason. I know you have to give them credit as well. They fought back and they got the point that they probably deserved. But for me, you score 3 goals away on the road at Chorley, I believe we expect to win. The two decisions, the first goal obviously is not very good marking. Then it's a goal line scramble, they tap it in. The second one's a penalty, which I think it is a penalty. And the third one, I thought we just didn't deal with a long ball into the box, didn't get tight enough to stop the cross, and first contact wasn't big enough to get it out of the box, and then I think he shifted it and absolutely spanked it bottom corner. So really deflating. We've had chances as well to score more. I think Parker's had a 1v1. We've probed. Tom Scott had a nice shot at the end, but the score 3 at Chorley, for me, I expect to win. And that is a massive shift. The boys put in an absolute shift, and I thought they'd play really well.
Yeah, inclined to agree with Ross Jenkins, their manager of Oxford City. Scoring 3 goals away from home, you would expect to win, especially having a 2-goal cushion twice during the game. So disappointing. That has taken Oxford City down into the bottom 3. Really important game for them this weekend. They're playing bottom of the league, Southport. So we wish them all the very best for that. That's going to be quite a crucial game. They call it 6-pointers these days, don't they? And it'll certainly be that. So let's hope they can get some points and move out of that danger zone, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. Meanwhile, Banbury United doing well in both the league and cup competitions. Still, they met their match in the FA Cup last Saturday, where St Albans forced a 1-1 draw at Banbury and a replay on Tuesday night that didn't go Banbury's way. Title game though, went to extra time, and here's what Kelvin Langley had to say after that game.
Well, Calvin, a 1-0 defeat, extra time agony, but your side gave it absolutely everything out there tonight.
Yeah, lots of emotions at the moment, but the overriding one is pride. Pride in them boys. They gave absolutely everything for themselves, their teammates, the football club, myself, the staff, everyone. All I ever want from my team is to leave everything out there, and they certainly did that. It was a tight game. It always felt like it had come down to one moment. The moment fell for them. We struggled to really create a clear-cut one. So obviously hugely disappointed, but super proud of the boys.
Yeah, you say that, but I actually felt, if you agree, that the game almost followed the same pattern as Saturday, in that in the first half you had the upper hand arguably and probably were on the front foot more. Then maybe it got a bit more even in the second half, and then a bit of a sucker punch the first minute of extra time.
Yeah, we started the game really well, again like we did on Saturday, but they're very good at just nullifying the game, slowing it down. They changed shape, changed personnel, so we had to adapt to that, which I thought we did really well. We kept our shape really, really well throughout, dealt with how they wanted to go about it, but we just nothing really clear cut. Again, they're very good at slowing it down, breaking up the momentum, and just nothing just quite fell for us. And in tight games like that, you need it, and on this occasion it fell for them.
Kelvin Langley there, talking about a really disappointing end to the FA Cup run for Banbury, but super effort at St Albans, difficult place to go and get a result. So our best to Banbury for the rest of the season. Well, the eagle-eyed amongst you will notice that Colin has vacated the hot seat, and I've been joined by Oxford Downs captain Matt Warner. Welcome, Matt. Oxford Downs finished a top club in Oxfordshire during 2026. Must be quite proud of that.
Yeah, Darryl, I think, I think obviously the club over the last 5 or 6 years have been moving up through the leagues, and I think, we've looked at Banbury and Aston Rowan as sort of the benchmark of where we've sort of been trying to get to. So, I think they've probably had a bit of a down year for them and will come back stronger, but as you said, we finished above them this year, and yeah, it's really good to see.
Yeah, no, the season itself, can you just give us a few highlights and how it went? Obviously, finishing second was the best position the first team have ever finished. So, again, absolutely proud of that. But what are some highlights for you through the season?
Yeah, I think overall we sort of at the start of the season, our biggest goal was to sort of progress from last year, which, we were sort of the first year in the top division last year. We came 5th, mid-table, so looking to progress on that, which we obviously managed to do. So for me, that was probably the biggest pleasing thing. But I think highlights over the year, we had some really good wins all the way through. Banbury away was a good one. We had a good win here against Henley with Luke Mazen scoring a big 160 odd. Even last game of the season, I know it was a bit of a dead rubber, but getting a win over the champions in the end was pretty good for us.
that was a special moment. Watching that from the sideline, it was good to watch and see where we have come as a club. So, as you say, quite rightly, the progression over the last couple of years has been decent, hasn't it? Overseas, Louis Delport had an impactful part of the season, you would say?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, started off very strong with the ball, which obviously what we sort of brought him over to do. But yeah, he was pretty consistent all the way through the year. Finished in the top 3 or 4 wicket takers. But yeah, also impactful with the bat. Had one big 100 against Great Brickhill, but a few good knocks in there as well to help support in that sort of middle order and stuff. So yeah, from performances wise, he was good, and then also off the pitch with the training and sort of bringing on a lot of the other guys. He was also brilliant as well. So
yeah, he did a lot of coaching. He did a lot of coaching of the women's team here that were very successful. Didn't lose a game through the season, but it was just his knowledge and imparting some of his skills over to other players that had a real benefit to us.
Yeah, I think he spent a lot of time with guys who wanted to give up, a bit of extra time outside of our sort of main training to talk through technique-wise and sort of game plans. And I think it really benefited a lot of those guys who, were able to go to him and be like, oh, I'm looking at this. What do you see? And you could see his sort of professional experience and also the level of coaching that he's done. He spoke to me, and I know a few others, sort of things that we haven't sort of thought about before, and that really helped us sort of push on our game, I think.
There was 1 or 2, tweaks in people's setups, actually, wasn't there? And made a real difference to those people. There was 2 or 3 on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Luke's probably the main one. He's probably spent a lot of time with. Had a bit of a lean start to the season after he sort of came back from Australia and had a bit of a break. But second half of the season he was right in there and managed to get himself into that top 10 run scorers. Will as well. Maybe didn't quite have in the second half of the season the performance he wanted, but was shaping up really nicely. And there's some good bowlers in the league and stuff, so it's always difficult. So I think Louis did a great job for us this year, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. You've alluded there to a few noticeable performances through the season. Will Watts continuing his form from 2024, and obviously Luke Maslin having some big scores. Freddie Smith was an interesting one. He struggled at the start of the season after a really good season previously, but came to the fore, second half of the season, really.
Yeah, I think George and Will sort of had some good run of form at the first half of the year, and it sort of Luke and Fred sort of took it on towards the second half of the year. So, yeah, Fred again, he had obviously top run scorer last year, come out of uni and taken on a real job as it was, and maybe didn't get the training over the winter that he's been used to. So, maybe took him a little bit of time to get back into it. But yeah, towards the end of the year, he was scoring runs for fun. So.
It was class, wasn't he? He really was. And you have a knack of getting all these first-class players out, Matt. Is added to your list of first-class scouts?
I think in the end he wasn't actually allowed to play that game, so maybe it doesn't matter too much. But yeah, interesting to see a guy playing in the 100 on Thursday and then turning up against us on Saturday. So yeah, got to come up with a plan.
Well, he didn't get any runs, did he?
No.
He went round the park as well, so we Downs did very well. I keep saying we. Terrible. That's terrible. I cannot get out of that habit. I do apologise, viewers, because I am part of this club. We'll gloss over that. It's not a problem. I mean, for you, Matt, it's been, it may be a tough season, but doing the first team captaincy, but also doing the ground here. What's that been like, and what sort of problems have you come across, if you have had any problems? I
don't think there's been too many, to be honest. I've obviously spent a lot of time here this summer, which is good in some ways. But yeah, I managed to keep them pretty separate, I'd say. yeah, maybe just a few times when sort of maybe eating into potential training or whatever, or preparing for training, that kind of thing. But had some help from a few of the youngsters and stuff. So yeah, all in all, I think it's fairly straightforward. Maybe the dry weather had a lot of watering going on, but had help from the guys nearby to help with that as well. So.
Which is brilliant, isn't it? And we need that support for sure. And I think that's a good into future leaders courses, because a couple of youngsters had done those courses through Oxfordshire Cricket and came and helped out on the ground. And young Henry Welsh obviously was an injured player this year, so he helped out a little bit on the ground as well. That was a bit of a miss, do you think? Could we have gone one better with Welchie in there?
It's hard to say how much he would have affected some of the games, but it definitely affected the balance of our team. I think going into sort of the second half of the season, we sort of ended up with maybe too many seamers in our side, where that second spinner potentially could have affected some games in a different way. It's hard to say really, but obviously he's been through some of the academies and stuff, and he's looking to push as far as he can. So he's obviously a good player. So just having another good player in the team would obviously make a difference.
And the plans going ahead through the winter, how's that looking at the moment for Oxford Downs?
Yeah, I think we'll look at starting indoor training again after Christmas, and all the guys that are around obviously be working hard. So we've got a few at uni and stuff. We'll be putting in time there with the UCCE stuff. So they'll obviously be having a strong winter. So it's up to the other guys to sort of keep putting in the work. I guess from a team point of view, maybe a couple of roles we're looking at strengthening, but I think generally as a side we've been pretty together over the last 5 or 6 years, just adding a couple here and there when we've needed. So that sort of team sort of spirit has really done us well so far.
We're not looking at any players leaving at this moment in time?
I hope not. It's obviously, I think that's probably the first key thing to do, is make sure that none of our players go and none of our promising youngsters are swayed elsewhere. So it's making sure that they're aware that they've got key roles for us going forward. So
I mean, it's a good point, isn't it? Ollie Armstrong, would be in the young player envelope, but he had a reasonable season. He had a struggle start, but he did come back strong, didn't he? And he looks like somebody who could really make a difference next year.
Yeah, I think you're looking at Ollie, Luke, Fred, now we call them youngsters, but now 21, 22, 23, 24, they're coming into their sort of prime of their sort of skills really. So those guys are going to be the core of the team going forward for the next 5 or 6 years, hopefully. So Ollie, second half of the season, had some great two probably match-winning performances against Walgrave and Wickham here, both hit, and he's got that real wicket-taking ability that could be key for us going forward.
He's got a real appetite as well, hasn't he, to get better actually, which is
training-wise, he's in our top 1 or 2 or 3 really that are here all the time, putting in the hours.
And it be amiss of me to say, good to have Tom Costley back in the side.
Yeah, he's obviously finally managed to fix his knees.
Old man Costley.
Couple of seasons. One season really fully out, and one season sort of only playing a part role. Coming back in and bowling at full tilt, fielding, batting, sort of energy in the field and around the team. Obviously was massive for us this year.
He has the ability to change a game actually at a drop of a hat, doesn't he?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he played quite a lot of different roles with the ball actually. He came on first change a few times, but also came on later in the innings. He always looking to take wickets and do what's best for the team.
Absolutely. Good to have him back in the ranks. Well, I suppose that just comes to saying, I know you've got quite an exciting winter ahead of you. What's your plans? Sounds quite exciting, this one.
Yeah, well, taking a bit of time off work and heading off to Australia to support England. Thought about going for maybe the last 2 tests and thought we might be 3-0 down. So I was like, might as well get there for the start. And then I was like, well, I might as well stay for all of it and see how it goes. Sort of good time in my life and stuff, but quite free to go and do something. So yeah, do it while I can. Never know what it's going to be like in 4 or 8 years or anything. So.
Very exciting. And you say that it might be already over, but what's your thoughts? I've got a good feel.
I'm quite optimistic, actually, at the moment. I think Australia, I'm not really sure what their best line. There's a lot of their podcasts and stuff are talking about who's going to be in the top order and who's going to fit in where and what the order's going to be like. I think England are pretty settled. Some people might argue that some of those guys don't deserve their place, but they've been pretty clear from my point of view that this is the team they're going to pick, the reasons that they've picked certain players in certain roles, and it looks like our fast bowlers are going to be fit, and I think we've got a good opportunity.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think it'll be a lot closer than people think. I did see a little piece on YouTube this week about how Joe Root will be nicking off like he normally does. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Matt, thank you very much for coming in, giving us an insight into the season at Oxford Downs. It's been, a really good season, and well done to you as captain. Really fantastic achievement to finish second this year. Let's hope I've said we again, Oxford Downs can finish one better than last year and be at the top of the tree. But for now, Matt, thank you very much. Enjoy the winter. Sounds fantastic. I'm very envious of that, I can assure you. Well, that takes us to our normal segment, but obviously Locke and Ryde have been doing a podcast, and it's under the guise of Ox Sports Unleashed, and you can actually download that on Spotify and all good podcast stations, but that's already done. So you've got a roundup of all the grassroots football from around Oxfordshire. Do check that out. It's a really good thing. I must admit I haven't listened to last week's. That's a black mark. Patrick, the producers, go, what the hell's going on there? Do listen, because it gives you the full roundup. It's excellent. With that, we go to their section, which is the fixture focus. So it's Locke and Ryde, or as I like to call them, Captain Scarlet and Captain Blue.
Okay, now it's time for our fixture focus. Patrick, can you go through and tell us what our local football fans have got to look forward to this weekend, Patrick?
Yes, and I nearly made a mistake last weekend, as I always do with Oxford United after an international break, and report their fixture a week early. But Oxford United, they have an early kickoff, 12:30 against Derby County at the Kassam in the Championship this weekend. Oxford City also at home, 3 p.m. kickoff. They face Southport in National League North. Really, really big game for City, really, as Southport are rock bottom of National League North. So Ross Jenkins' men really need to get 3 points from that game to try and find some momentum and get themselves out of the relegation zone themselves. After their cup exploits of the last few weeks, Banbury United are back in league action. They host Halesowen Town in Southern League Premier Central. In Southern League Division 1 Central, Tame United are at home. They host Hitchin Town. But Didcot Town in Southern League Division 1 South have got an extremely long journey. They head down to Falmouth Town. We've spoken about it a lot, haven't we, Colin, in the past about travelling that league. So Didcot will certainly be racking up the miles on Saturday.
Yeah, and Falmouth are very well supported too. I think it'll be a good crowd down there at Falmouth Town. They come up to the non-leagues down there in Cornwall quite rapidly with great following home and away. So
absolutely,
it should be a good crowd down there. But if it's a long way to come back on the coach if you lose, isn't it, Patrick?
Oh, absolutely. And Oxford City have had their fair share of those over the years, and especially in National League a few years ago, where unfortunately, most games ended in defeat. But yeah, however you go and get a win there, it's also that journey. Several hours on the coach seems like it takes half an hour if you get a few beers and some singing going on the coach. But
absolutely,
yeah.
Okay, Patrick, so tell us about the women's games on Sunday, please.
Yeah, just a couple of teams in action this weekend. It's the two Oxford sides. Oxford United, they are back in Women's National League Cup action. They host Chelsea Academy at Court Place Farm at midday. And at Court Place Farm at 3 p.m, so just after the Oxford United game, Oxford City are in Oxfordshire Women's Senior Cup action. They host Tower Hill there. So no league action this week. It's just all cup action for our women's sides.
All right, but on that note, then there's lots to look forward to this coming weekend. For the time being, though, Patrick Locke, thanks for your time.
Our thanks there to Captain Blue and Scarlet, Lyon Ryde, for that excellent fixture focus for this weekend. And like I say, do have a listen to that podcast in your cars, on the trains, on the way to work. It's well worth a listen because it gives you the full roundup. Can't get it anywhere else. So, but here on that podcast from Sports Unleashed. So please do it. And we've got some more football, Colin, I believe.
We have indeed got some more football. We've switched to the women's game, and especially Oxford City women. They reached the first round proper of the FA Cup for the first time in 15 years. So we've got some clips coming up, I think. Mr. Producer gets his fingers right.
Oxford City women booked their place in the FA Cup first round proper for the first time in 15 years. They overcame Denham United on penalties, although it didn't come without a scare. Step up Grace Craven on her birthday. From 3-1 down, Craven's 95th minute equaliser sent the Hoops to penalties to decide who would go through. Ellie White sent the winning penalty home, along with a brace in the match to set up a draw with Sherborne Town on Sunday the 26th of October. Abingdon United also advanced through the third qualifying round as they were 2-0 winners over two divisions lesser opposition Camden Town. They set up a tie with Worthing. While Oxford United enter in round one against National League rivals #United, who had a 1-1 draw with each other on Sunday.
Right, thank you to Blake Bint there for narrating that piece there about the women's game, which is getting stronger and stronger in Oxfordshire. Some really good sides there, especially down at Court Place Farm. You can see that on a Sunday normally if you're looking for something to do.
Did you see Oxford United women won 10-0 at the weekend?
They're doing well, doing well. Showing the men how to do it, I think so.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. Right, change to the different shaped ball, and Chinnor. They are doing really, really well at the moment. They are 12th in the Championship. That's the second division of the rugby in the UK, so really good. They lost at the weekend, 55-7 to Ealing Trail Finders, so tough old game, but only 2 games in so far. They do play Coventry at home on Saturday, so big sides there coming up. So.
Champions get themselves underway and a textbook restart. Connor Oliver chipping over the top, and it is going to be a score just seconds after the first whistle sounded here to Holgate. Another of the South Africans in this side. Acres of space on the left wing, and it's going to be the simplest of scores for Tom Collins. But leaving gaps near the touchline, and Bridge sprints up the line, and he does have support on the inside, and Hampson just clings on. This will be Ealing's third try of the game. Only 17 minutes played. Jones once again on to White. The overlap that was there on the right-hand side just disappears as Chinnor are able to get players over, but Ealing still managing to unlock the holes, and Wilson on, and it's going to be a 4th try, bonus point secured for Trailfinders. Tulloch, Jones is involved, Wilson 2-on-1 into the hands of Bailey. It's going to be a try-scoring debut for the man that has moved over from the West Country. firm hits coming in from Ealing, who need to stay disciplined here with their defensive line. They've got to call the numbers over to the right. Pascoe spots that's where they're tracking, and he will go over for Chinnor's first score in this one. A richly rewarded try from his teammates. On to the big lads. Jones to the back line again, and here's the break as Montgomery, he scored a stunner last week. I did tell you that you should watch it on replay. I did tell you that he might just show you another one here today, and that is straight out of the top draw. Cutmore, and surprisingly, takes that line out cleanly. And Trailfinders committing players to the maul here. And they will go over for another score. Scott Buckley. Loose ball, but it's gone backwards, and so play will continue through Heatherall. And right up to the line now are Ealing, and Picking going round the corner, and it will be another score for the home team. An opportunity for them to raise the bats as they go past 50. Going forward and over the touchline, and that will be that in this one. Consummate display by the champions here on home ground, running out 55 points to 7 winners.
So a heavy defeat there for Chinnor. Ealing Trailfinders are a top side in that second division league. Another tough gig for them coming up though. Coventry are 9th, okay. They've just got the 1 win, so and I'll say another tough gig for Chinnor. And while we're on rugby, all sports sides are always looking for volunteers, especially coaches these days. And we've got a shout out for West Oxfordshire Levellers, and they are looking for coaches. There's details there if you can see on the screen there. But look up, if you're interested in helping out the West Oxfordshire Levellers, then look up on their website, please, and get in contact because, like I say, grassroots sport relies on volunteers, and you can't get enough coaches, can you, Darryl?
No, you can't. And that's such a worthy cause, and get along there and help them out. If you're looking to be a coach, they would be pleased to see you. So we hope that goes well for West Oxfordshire Levellers on that. So
now then,
go on.
The last time we interviewed a certain Linsey Smith, who's currently out in India, was at Walmsley, fantastic cricket ground, okay, in the peeing rain.
It was pouring down.
Yeah, it was absolutely sheeting down,
it
okay.
Was, yeah.
In spite of our interventions, she's been quite successful, hasn't she?
Well, the great thing about that interview, if you remember rightly, is that she talked about getting back into the England side, and she's done that very well indeed. And you know, they've had a mixed tournament so far. Great to see Nat Sivabrunt, one of our masked cricketers, by the way, scoring her 5th century at the weekend. The person who's got the highest amount of centuries in the World Cup from all the countries. So well done to Nat Sivabrunt. But our own Linsey, she's been doing quite well still. On Saturday in the fixture against Sri Lanka, Smith took 1 for 22, and it was a win. It was a comfortable win when all said and done, and you know, England should be beating Sri Lanka in that. But they had a bit of a reprieve, I think we could say, in the week when rain certainly helped them. Pakistan were 34 for 0, chasing 131. So, you know, hopefully Pakistan did bowl incredibly well that day. But England are second in the table. So, you know, who knows? We hope that you know, the performances get back to winning ways, and you've got a couple of tough ones now, India and Australia coming up, and obviously New Zealand as well. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one, but I'm still hopeful they could get through to the latter stages, and we'll see how that pans out. You never know when it's a one-off. it could be quite interesting. It was a very, very good game, Australia-India in the week, very close. So we'll see how that works. That takes us on to one of the biggest events in Oxfordshire last weekend, and that was the Oxford Half Marathon. And I've come in on this, Colin. I don't know if you want to, because you're quite up on the Oxford Half Marathons, aren't you?
Well, I've done a lot of commentaries on marathons in and around Oxfordshire and down in Hampshire. So on Sunday, George Grassley was the first person home. He did it in 1 hour, 5 minutes, 31 seconds. Okay, so and also the first lady home was Charlie Arnell from Bicester, 1 hour, 15:10. Now, that's about 10 minutes behind the chap. What I have been seeing increasingly over the years I've been commentating on marathons is the fact that the women's times have been creeping up to the men's. Okay, so if you've never done this sort of thing before and you fancy getting into running, contact your local running club. They'll look after you really, really well because it's a fantastic sport to get into. We should also give a shout out to the wheelchair winner as well. A very inclusive sport this is. Gary Cooper did it in 1 hour 10:12 there. So big back to Charlie Arnell. She won the Manchester Marathon last year. So clearly someone who's got a good racing pedigree. But again, don't be put off by the elite athletes that do these things all the times. If you think you want to start running, find a local running club. Go down there, have a chat to them. They'll look after you really well. They'll start you off, in the right way. Make sure you train properly. And who knows, next year you may well be competing in the Oxfordshire Half Marathon. Woodsy.
Have you ever run it, Colin?
No, I commentate.
You just commentate?
Yeah. Those that can do, those that can't do.
Okay.
Can't do nothing, you commentate.
You've chickened out of it, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. We just wanted to get that straight.
No.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. But really, it's good to watch, isn't it?
No, the park runs, fantastic thing that has started out and huge. And so I suppose I've been commentating on fun runs, half marathons, full marathons for the best part of 30 years or more. So I've seen the sport develop a lot. I should say one thing though, if you ever get to commentate on a race and start a race, as I've done before, especially a kids race, make sure that you are not the wrong side of the starting barrier. The kids race, because as soon as that gun goes, no matter what you told them, they just go off like a rocket and you'll get trampled to death. And that's it. The last you'll be ever seen, you'll be in the mud and trying to sort of get your breath back. So, yeah, again, it's a fantastic sport, and I can't recommend it enough. Not for me, I have to say, but but in terms of a choice of sport, because they will take you through different stages, right? And again, if you've ever been around a race at the start, they have pace makers, which means that they will line you up in your expected elapsed times to make sure you're running with people who are of the same sort of standard. And you'll see runners helping each other. You see it in the London Marathon, that you're helping each other across the line there. So it's a great community, so I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, I saw a lot of photographs, people doing it for charity, running with washing machines on their backs and stuff like that. And it looked very painful, I have to be honest. And I believe it over 13,000 run?
Yeah, right? No, it's a big sport. So in getting I say, and the thing I've watched over sort of 30 years of commentating on is the women's times are coming right up there, and you'll see top women athletes competing well with the men these days. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, brilliant. Good to see. If you want to have a look at some of the photographs, go onto the website. Just search Oxford Half Marathon. There's quite a lot of information on there. So, and as Colin says, get down to your local runnings club. They would be pleased to see you. That takes us on to a totally different sport. We've got a very high calibre triathlete in Oxfordshire, in Ben Cumberland, and we've got a little bit of information on Ben. I think there's a slide coming up shortly. He was down in Australia, and he was competing out there, and amazingly it's the actual under-23 World Championship, and he finished 24th out of 59 entrants, and competed in a 1.5 kilometre swim, a 40 kilometre cycle ride, and a 10 kilometre run. So in a modest 1 hour and 48 minutes as well. So well done to Ben, and we will hopefully be speaking to Ben on his return to the UK in the very near future. So yeah, that will be interesting. Another sport that we unleash on here on Oxsports Unleashed. So you know, stay tuned in the coming weeks for that. Very excited. In the coming weeks, we also have netball being focused, and also dodgeball. We'll have Peter Cherridge back in. Looking forward to catching up with Peter and how they're doing at Oxford Thunder Dodge. So please keep with us on that. If you want to send us any clips, if you want to get involved, you can by all means, and you can contact us by using that email address down there that Colin's pointing to, oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com. We really would like to hear from you, and any clips, any funny clips, please send it to. We would be pleased to present them in the coming weeks. So lots of excitement coming up. Yep. I'm sort of really excited about the netball one, actually. I don't know much about it, so
it's a big sport. Big sport again.
Big sport. So we're looking forward to catching up on that.
Can I just say that when we did the dodgeball feature, you did your dodgeball with your dodgy knees, didn't you?
I did.
You did that. Okay, very good. You can look back on that in a past show. But after we'd aired the dodgeball thing, they actually got an uptake in people wanting to go down there and have a crack at it.
Yep.
So, you know, again, we can't plug this enough that we're here to promote grassroots sport at any level, okay? And just to say that when we've done that with things like dodgeball, it's actually increased the interest in the sport. We've done karting too and raised some cash for a local karter. I don't think he's racing this year, sadly. He couldn't raise enough money to do that. But again, we're all about volunteering and trying to promote your sport. So get in contact with us. We're only too pleased to air your sport and your sports club. Give it a bit more coverage. Back to you, Woodsy.
Yeah, no, that's well said, Colin. Thank you for that. Absolutely spot on. I think we're going to go to the football tables from around the county, and I'm sure when they come up, we'll just bluff our way through this a little bit, Colin. Obviously, in the EFL, as you can see, Oxford United.
No, they are struggling a bit like Oxford City at the moment. So our two sort of clubs towards the top end of the leagues. A big game for United this weekend. 12:30 kick-off. Don't forget that against Derby County. I shall be there. Let's hope the international break has done a little bit of good and they can actually put 3 points on the board. But you can see, I mean, we said in our fixture focus and in our podcast that you've only got to put a few wins on the board to shoot up the table. Look at Tame United. They've got a couple of wins on the back of the league and they're already mid-table. So there we are, Oxford United down there at the moment at the wrong end of the table. You don't want to let it get too much, but Derby County aren't far above them, so that's going to be a tough old game on Saturday at 12:30 kick-off at the Gassan Stadium.
And we go into that National League North, as we said earlier, that Southport game at the weekend's looking very crucial, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And again, the big thing that the news really is that Zach McEachran is still out for City. I think from Patrick's insider knowledge there, he's probably going to be out for another 2 or 3 weeks. So missing a few key players, and City need to dig themselves out of a hole. But a point away at a top side at the weekend showed glimmers of hope for the Hoops.
And into the Premier Central. Banbury United there, obviously in FA Cup action last week, and they're sort of mid to low table, but they have got a couple of games in hand of the sides above them, so they're not in a too bad a position. I like the symmetry of 3 wins, 3 draws and 3 losses.
Yeah, but this is Kelvin Langmead, who previously you'd know him as being a central defender, occasionally going up front as a makeshift centre forward. It's his first season in the dugout as a manager, and he's doing pretty well. He speaks very well to Dave England, Puritan's Radio interviews him well after each game. We pick up on his broadcast too. So Kelvin Langmead showing he's got good skills on the pitch and in the dugout as well.
Yeah, and Division 1 Central, Tame United, as we mentioned, have been picking up. They've had 4 wins now, 1 draw and the 4 losses, but are in mid-table 11 with their 13 points.
Yeah, and Ben Williams, the manager, he's done well this season, really, because when he first took over, he didn't have any team at all. He had to delay the start of the pre-season when he got a squad together. Yeah. And of course, Jefferson Louis came back and helped him out. Jefferson Louis did hang up his boots finally back in June, July. Okay, so after spending an interesting career, I think he had more clubs than Fowler, as it were. But
we
again,
must get Jefferson Louis.
Yeah, we must get on at some point. So Jefferson Louis would be a really good guest as well. So there we are. 11th at the moment, so Ben's team are picking up points in the right way at the moment.
Yeah, Division 1 South, Didcot Town slipping into the bottom 4 there. Again, Jamie Heapy probably not too happy with where they are at the moment. But again, you know, it's still early doors, isn't it? We hope that they can put some results together and sail up that.
You look how tight that is at the bottom now. I think we calculated it's about 10 teams and about 4 points of each other. So again, if Didcot Town put a few back-to-back wins together, which they've been doing recently, then you can see that they'll soon, hopefully, shoot back up that table.
In the Cherry Red Records Combined Counties Football League. Love that. Premier Division
brilliant.
North. That's a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah.
All our sides are doing quite well there. I'm not sure where North Greenford United figure in Oxfordshire, but they've got a few games in hand, so they're in a good position. But I'm probably more interested in Hartley United, Wallingford and Crowmarsh and Kidlington in that order, with Hartley United having a couple of games in hand over there.
I'm glad we do Wallingford and Crowmarsh now as a full there, because WC used to catch me out every time, but now I know it's Wallingford and Crowmarsh. Thank you very much indeed for the guys doing that there. So Kidlington, of course, dropped down a league and they seem to be doing quite well. Maybe they found their level so far.
It wouldn't be Oxsports Unleashed without introducing another side.
Absolutely, yeah.
Milton are 9th, yes, we should mention Milton.
Okay, fine,
they're not highlighted.
No,
but they are
maybe
9th.
That's where the highlighter should have gone.
But all good.
Yeah.
And still in the Premier Division North at the bottom, Aberdeen United, just above the drop zone there. But again, not too bad a position. There's a couple of sides above them that have only played 6 games. But
again, we've said, North Leeds 13th. We haven't highlighted them. So North Lee 13th. Okay, so 11 points too. They also came down with Kidlington to this league as well. So
got a few in this league, haven't we?
Yeah, a few in this league. So and these are all good leagues, good quality football. So
absolutely. Shows the standard within Oxfordshire.
It does,
really. And then GCE, Higher Fleet United, Counties League Premier South, Easington Sports are again just above that drop zone. 12 games played. They've only won twice with 7 losses and 3 draws.
I like the one below it. What's that? GNG Oderby Town. I wonder where they are. I guess it's good names.
There's some great names. And of
names.
course, a side we regularly feature on here, Bugbrook St Michael's, are bottom.
Okay.
The UHL Sport Hellenic League Division 1, Wantage Town there in 8th position. Not too bad, 17 points. Top team is on 25, so not too far away. So a good start to the season for Wantage Town. And at the bottom, it's quite interesting, isn't it? Tame United reserves, Clanfield, who have previously been up in the top part of the league, in the bottom 3, and Carterton. Good to see my home town doing reasonably well, better than last year, 14th, and they've had 3 wins and 7 losses, but 10 points on the board.
Yeah, look at Tame United reserves though; they're down the bottom there, and that's probably not good for Ben Williams not to have much in reserve, as it were. So you need to get a few injuries, okay? So inconsistency in this level. So that's probably a bit of a warning about the strength and depth of Tame's squad so far. Right, next slide, please, young Mr. Producer. Thank you very much, sir.
Took me back to COVID time.
Absolutely, yes. So, right, Women's National League. Oxfordshire United, 6th, doing quite well there. 8 points so far. Because they've got cup action as well. Banbury United, just above the drop zone, which is not good news as well. Make sure there's nobody else who's missed. No, that's great, yep.
And Southern Region Women's Football League, Premier South, Oxford City there in 8th position. There's only 11 sides. Is there only 11 sides in that league?
Yeah.
They've only got 4 points on the board, but they've only played 3 games. So I think that's not too bad at the moment. There we go. There's the Football League tables from this week. I'm sort of looking at our producer, I'm making sure that we have got a results service this week. We have got a results service this week, which is, I like this because it's a banging tune. And I have to say, the features on this now, I think, are quite special. So well done to Wes, jazzing up our results service. So let's have a look at all the results from last weekend. Like I say, banging tune and great visuals there on the results service. So well done to young Wesley for that. You don't get it anywhere else, a full roundup of local football and rugby results. So really concise details there. So well done. That's about it for this week. But I did want to share with you an old picture that I came across on Sports Memories. And it's just quite an interesting thing, really. Former Burford Grammar School pupil Frank Hartley is still the only Oxford City player to gain a full international cap. he played in the 4-1 victory over France in 1923. Were you there, Colin?
No, I wasn't there, actually. But where on earth do you find that, sir? I mean, brilliant stat.
It's just a great start, isn't it? And,
It
I do a little bit of work at Burford School, so it's quite a historic occasion for them as well. So, you find these little things across the internet on Facebook memories and stuff. And that just, I think, because we've highlighted Oxford City over the years. I think it's a great
you forget.
start.
I mean, I'm an incomer from Southampton, so but when I first came to Oxford, City was still playing down the Abingdon Road, and they were the big side, in Oxfordshire for long periods of with a big stadium, because of course Oxford United were amateurs, the boys from up the hill heading to United, until they eventually decided to go professional. City, where you forget, Oxford City were, it's a decent club still, but they were big time, the biggest club in Oxfordshire for a long, long time, I think so. That's a little known fact.
There you go.
I did not know that, sir.
There you go. You do now.
Thank you. Educational, this programme.
It is. Yes. Every day's a school day. This is what I do love about this show and being on with the likes of Kieren and Colin, because their knowledge of sport around our county is commendable and far superior to mine, I can assure you. So it's great to have these guys on the show, and it's great to have Patrick producing the show, and Wes and Blake and Dan and Matt Bowden involved as well. It's a great team. But like I say, if you want to join us, you can. If you want to do some reporting, some filming, even presenting, why not? Because we don't just throw this together.
Yes, we do.
Well, we might do. Please get in contact with us at that email address again, oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com. We will be pleased to hear from you. Thanks again for joining us live on a Thursday night. We'll be back again next Thursday live at 8 o'clock. KDog may be back. But our thanks to you, Colin, for stepping in tonight. And please join us again where we'll unleash some more Ox Sports. We'll see you soon.
Bye for now.